This week, the South African Local Government Association hosted a two-day Mayors' Conference in East London with the aim of improving the performance of municipalities. And it is an intervention that is urgently needed, given the dismal performance of local governments when it comes to audits and service delivery. In giving the opening address, President Cyril Ramaphosa cautioned mayors to pay careful attention to the 2020-2021 audit outcomes, which revealed that close to 250 municipalities were on the brink of collapse. He also said provinces could not drive recovery programs with poor performance from local governments. To talk about the gathering and its outcomes is Lance Joel, Salga CEO. Lance, good evening to you and welcome. What discussions did the mayors engage in after that keynote in which the president also said that the real state capture is at local government level?
Well, good afternoon, Iman, and also to the viewers. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It was certainly a sobering moment when the President of the Republic addressed all mayors across the country. And following his keynote address, there was focus on a number of areas. Key amongst them is around financial management, the collection of revenue within municipalities, and also ensuring that there's proper oversight over the administration. So a number of conversations unfolded post the President's keynote address. And we are quite excited about the overall outcomes of the 2 days, seeing that it was the first meeting of mayors since the elections in November last year. Many of them have just over 9 months in office, so this is an opportune time, we thought, to bring them together and hopefully put them on the right track for the remainder of the term of office.
Lance, and while we can appreciate that there has to be a level of orientation, especially for those who are new in the role, the problems are urgent and they're pressing. Added to that, the Auditor General finding that payments in local municipalities are made without any form of record, without any invoices. No one really knows where the money is going to, and millions just disappear. What have you resolved out of this important gathering to do about, on the action front, to repair this performance?
Well, Iman, we also had the benefit of the Auditor General being part of the conversation on that first day, the 8th. But key amongst the outcomes, twofold. The first one was, because we are sitting with new mayors, an opportunity to remind them of their legislative responsibilities, particularly around financial management. But secondly, also encouraging them to ensure that at the core of the problems that find expression in local government, there is the lack of accountability, meaning holding those accountable for wrongdoing, but also holding those accountable for the delivery of municipal plans. But the second part thereof is consequence management, where people are found to be on the wrong side of the law, where people are found with their hands in the cookie jar. There should be consequences for those individuals. So a clear direction given to mayors to ensure that as they return back to their respective municipalities, they will indeed address those particular shortcomings.
Lance, and not to put this to you, because I know that you're also, fresh in terms of taking on this position as well. But we cannot be in a situation, and one can appreciate, as you say, that they are firmly resolved, they're going to go back and try and look at things like consequence management and holding people accountable. But that conversation can't be seen to only be starting now. There obviously are some mechanisms that you have in your, within your arsenal. You've got the MFMA, you've got other mechanisms of governance to make sure that people do their jobs and we know where the money is going. One of the problems we realize, perennial problems coming out of the AG's report, is the fact that these municipalities are undercapacitated in terms of audit skills. To that end, is there a partner plan that you have in order to fix this quite quickly and turn it around? There are a number of organizations who are willing to share resources around quick training, capacitating municipalities. Tell us about this. What's happening on that front?
Well, certainly, man, it is not the first time this conversation is happening. It is just an opportune time, seeing that we have just emerged from the elections. We have new political office bearers led by our mayors. And so it was an opportune time to get them on board as well as the political heads. But one of the conversations that unfolded over the 2 days is that the problem of local government is the problem of the rest of the country. And therefore, it requires everyone to come on board and play their respective roles within the context of the respective mandates and their responsibilities. So there's agreement that there must be better coordination, support, and monitoring of local government by provincial and national government. But secondly, also linked to that, that there are a number of role players within our space that can really provide direct support to our municipalities. And one of the key things that came up mentioning audits is the concern that our financial statements, annual financial statements that are prepared by municipalities are prepared by consultants. And yet the results of municipalities do not change in terms of audit outcomes. So there was an outcry that we need to revisit that practice of getting consultants on board, but that we should rather spend time on developing capacity within local government.
Lance, if I may interject on that point, because I think it's very, very important what you're highlighting right now. Why do we never hear then, in the aftermath of the AG's reports making these scathing findings on municipalities, that municipalities don't turn around and say, but we got this really inadequate or unsatisfactory, report or audit outcome or audit from these consultants. Name and shame them. This business of, letting it be this kind of, mysterious thing that happens, and, it's just another sentence we say in South Africa every time the AG announces her report. We need to place so that these same consultants and companies don't keep working in our municipalities at taxpayers' expense with the same unsatisfactory results.
Absolutely, Iman, that's exactly the point that was made, is that we really need to revisit our contractual arrangements in these municipalities where consultants are bringing no value to the table, despite the fact that there's huge amounts that are paid to them. But that we, as I said earlier, we focus on building the capacity. And more importantly, Iman, try and attract the right people with the right skill to local government. But yes, there was, of course, the outcry that it is not always possible to attract the right skill because of the different salaries that are being paid at the local government level. So indeed, a mixture of concerns, but a confirmation from all that we need to ensure that we revisit these contractual arrangements with the consultants that bring no value to the table or do not assist in turning around those municipalities.
Yeah, I mean, some might say it's counterintuitive given, not to pay people who are responsible for keeping an eye on the money because the risk and the adverse outcomes have an exponentially higher economic impact on our municipalities. That, perhaps they should be the best paid in that service chain. Lance, before I let you go, just share with us another key outcome that we can monitor as the South African public that came out of this conference.
Well, I think a key outcome, Iman, is that mayors were requested. I want to not use the word directed, but they were really requested to go back to their respective municipalities and play the role of political heads. And that role is twofold, is to ensure that from a political point of view, that the governance structures are functional within municipalities, because quite often we are hearing of dysfunctional governance structures within municipalities. The second part linked to that is in the administration, is to ensure that there's proper oversight of the administration, that people that are appointed into positions and given responsibilities are performance assessed and ensure that they respond to those particular responsibilities and make the contribution that they are remunerated and paid for. But the last part was a concern that came up on Friday, Iman. It's around the killing of councillors, and we saw what happened overnight in KZN province. Of serious concern to us that there are attacks on councillors, on their assets, and we also see councillors losing their lives. And it's all because they are councillors. It is not because of anything else. So it's of real concern to us, and we
Yeah.
had the benefit of the Minister of Police with us over the first day, and also asking him to play a role, particularly around the assessments that are conducted on threats to the lives of councillors.
Yeah.
So it's a concern to us and a matter that we want to be addressed almost urgently.
Yeah, certainly a serious one there, Lance. Appreciate your time and letting us know what's been happening there. Certainly, you know, all eyes are on Salga to see whether there will be a benefit out of this gathering, and more importantly, that we'll come away with seeing better performance at the municipal level. Lance Joel is the CEO of the South African Local Government Association.